And, and welcome back. We're on day 8 of Magic Getting Throne of Eldraine spoilers. And we're getting into the home stretch of the spoilers now. Like, we're getting really close to the end. We got, I think, almost every mythic rare in the set spoiled now. And we got a doozy for today. But let's start out with one that got spoiled last night that I didn't get around to. Garen Brigg Carver is 1 green, 3 mana cover for a 3/2 common vanilla creature, but it has adventure. Shield's Might, 1 green, 2 of any color for an instant adventure. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end turn. A very simple combat trick on a very basic creature. You'll definitely use it for the adventure over the creature, because the creature itself is just a 3/2 for 4 that does not have an extra ability. So ultimately, you'll definitely use that above the other. But that said, it's not bad, especially for a combat trick, and if you have no other creatures on the field, it might be useful. And like you need a creature on the field, you put them on into that. Not the worst card in the world. I mean, again, it's pretty much 2/2 pump spell for 2. Or excuse me, pump spell for 2. That's pretty much what it is. Shepherd of the Flock, another adventure spell, is 1 white, 1 of any color for a 3/1 with no effect. Usher to Safety is 1 white, instant, adventure, target permanent you control, return target permanent you control to its owner's hand, and it's an uncommon spell. I say this one's better than the other one. It gives you some evasion. You can save something. Now, granted, you save something. Pretty much the way you're going to protect yourself with this card is going to be from card destruction effects, not from attacking or damage, because then it's just kind of, you're all right. I don't have the creature anymore, so we're just going to plow through you. But still, you get a 3/1 for 2 as opposed to a 3/2 for 4. This is obviously uncommon for a reason. So ultimately, it's not bad. And I like the effect of this guy just carrying a sheep on his shoulder. Not all heroes carry swords. They carry sheep. I feel like this is like the last sheep, too. It's like, man, it's like, I will protect you. Excuse me. Fae of Wishes. Okay, this one, okay. A 1/4 Fairy Wizard rare card. Costs 1 blue and 1 of any color. Flying. You can pay 1 of any color, 1 blue. Discard 2 cards and return this card to its owner's hand. You may also play Granted, the Wish effect. 1 blue, 3 of any color. You may choose a non-creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. See, here's the thing. I ultimately don't understand these. I get, and when I say don't understand, I don't mean I don't understand how they work. I get it. You take a card from outside the game, or whatever that means, be it your sideboard, your rare binder, for God's sake, whatever you have on you, and you put it into your hand. But that's a lot of frickin' prep. I've never liked these kind of cards, just because if you don't have cards outside the game, that like you bring out the casual stuff, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of, you gotta have cards on you outside the game at all times for this card to matter. But that being said, if you are one of those people, like you got your sideboards, you got all that, then it's the only adventure so far that can actually continually activate itself, because she has the effect of discarding 2 cards and returning herself back to your hand. So you can continue to play the Granted, then bring out Fae of Wishes, then play a Returner, play Granted, play Wishes. It's a loop, but you need cards in your hand to make that loop happen is the problem. So, and then you need cards outside the game to also make that loop happen. So I'm just not a big fan of it. I wouldn't use this card myself. Giant Skewer, and they got a little boar on top of there being roasted. 1 black, 1 of any color for a common equipment artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a food token. Then you equip it for 3. It's a solid card. You're getting stuff for dealing damage. It's a 2/1 for 3. It's a decent little card. Out of common, it's a perfectly good card. Fortifying Provisions. 1 white, 2 of any color for an enchantment. Common. Creatures you control get +0/+1, so you're getting a boost in toughness. When this enters the battlefield, you create a food token. Again, pretty simple. A 0/1 buff to the toughness is pretty solid. Most people would prefer power, but here's the thing. Let's say you have two 5/5s on the field. They've got two 6/6s, or they got let's say you got no sorry. Let's say you got two 5/4s on the field, and they have four 5s on the field. You swing in, you're going to trade. But if you suddenly bump up their toughness instead of their power, you can swing in, and you'll live. They could die. So I actually sometimes prefer toughness over that. Stormfist Crusader is 1 black, 1 red for a human knight, 2/2 menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. It says each player, which I find interesting. It's a 2/2 menace. It's got a little bit of evasion. You'll get a card, you'll lose a life, but if you're in the right type of deck, you got food, for instance, that will help you out. Ultimately, it's not bad, and it's also an engine against your opponent too. So while they are getting a card, if you can get into a discard kind of style, you might be able to find a way to make this work. Again, I'm not a fan of losing your life to draw a card myself, but with cards that can gain you life, plenty, such as food tokens, I could see it working. Two adamant cards next is Adventurous Paladin, 1 blue, 3 of any color for a 2/2. Human Knight, flying, cast at least 3 blue mono. When you cast this spell, put enter the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it, making a 3/3 flyer for 4, which is usable. That's perfectly serviceable. And then Unexplained Vision, 1 blue, 4 of any color, draw 3. Now, if you pay at least 3 blue to cast this spell, you scry 3. This one's a bit better. It's still pricey, but it's a bit better because you're getting 3 cards guaranteed, and if you're lucky, you can set up your draw. I'm guessing this is probably an uncommon card. Now we're getting to basically the meat and potatoes of the day. Not a lot, but let's see. Okay. Yeah, apparently we do have another mythic rare adventure creature. Brazen Borrower. 2 blue, 1 of any color for a fairy rogue mythic rare. Okay. 3/1. Flash. Flying. Can block only creatures with flying. Okay. That's not really that great in terms of a creature. Even the giant was... it could swing and hit, to be fair, I get what they're probably going with this. You're probably only going to be swinging with it. It's a 3/3 flyer for 3. I get it. But... and even then, 1/1 fairies can take this thing out. Anyway, so that's the creature part of it. Not mythic very much. Hell, even the giant is at least a 7/7 with was it reach or vigilance? With vigilance. So it doesn't tap at least. Petty Theft. 1 blue, 1 of any color for instant rare adventure. Or instant adventure. Return target non-land permanent to its owner you control, an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Okay, it's a bounce. These effects exist all the time. And is it because you attached a very good bounce card to a alright creature? Is that the reason for this? Now, to be fair, in total, this only costs 5 mana to do in 1 turn. So I can kind of... And it's got flash. I think that might be a big reason for it, is because you can do this at any time. It has flash, so you don't have to wait until to cast it on your next turn. You can cast it on their turn. The problem is, if they got big giants, casting this on their turn isn't going to freaking matter because it can't block it. I bet you could cast it on their turn, hope you're still freaking alive, and then swing in for 3. And that's assuming they don't have a flyer on the field. I get what they were trying to go with this card. But here's honestly what I would have done to improve it. Maybe increase the mana by 1, so make it 2 blue, 2 of any color to warrant what I'm about to do. Allow it to block any flying creature and just make it a 3/3. You already have that 1 3/3 mythic fairy in the black. Why couldn't you have made this a 3/3? 3/3, allow it to block other creatures and just bump it up 1. That's all you had to do, because frankly, we have another fairy in the set that I honestly think is probably better than this card. It has a counter spell on it instead for its adventure, and it's still a 2/2 flyer for 2. So, frankly, that's a better card in my mind than this. I will say, though, its alternate art is very beautiful. By the way, the full art they've shown off now the full art for some of the castles. The freaking black one, I kid you not, I have not seen anyone mention this. The Castle Lochthwain. It looks like a goddamn Star Destroyer. It's a Star Destroyer. Look at that thing and tell me you don't see a Star Destroyer. I'm not joking. I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is. I would never use this card, but this makes me happy this exists. So yeah, I would just kind of like have it. Like, it's a Star Destroyer. Uh, Iron Crag Pyromancer is 1 red, 2 of any color, for a 0/4 human wizard. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, this card deals 3 damage to any target. 0/4. Great. If you can draw a second card each turn, then you have a perfect engine for this card. If you can only do that sometimes, it's still okay, but then you're now in a scenario where this isn't doing anything. It's a 0/4 for 3 that's just going to be blocking. And if you're in red, you're not going to be, it's like just solid red. You need to be another color with this card because very few red cards allow you to draw a second card. Well, that's not true. There is the load ability, the discard, draw cards. In theory, you could do that. But honestly, the best card, the card you could pair it up with to make this possible is the featured artist of the day, folks. Probably going to be one of the most pricey mythics in the set. Holy crap, we have the Great Henge based off StoneHendge. It is 2 green, 7 of any color for a mythic rare legendary artifact. Like the other ones, it has a reduction casting cost effect. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. You can tap this card for 2 green mana and you gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1 counter on it and you draw a card. Holy hell, do I need a copy of this for every green deck I have? And that's the problem. Is like this is a card where I almost need multiple copies of this card. Like, holy crap, this can go into any green deck there is. Let's just break this down real quick. Whereas all the other ones had like I think it's like a 2 reduction cost, with exception of Magic Mirror, where it just costs I think 1 less for each instant and sorcery. In fact, let me check that real quick. Magic Mirror it shouldn't be too far down the list. There it is, Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror also has a reduction cost a little more easily accessible, where it's 1 for every instant of sorcerer in your grave. But the Excalibur one, Embercleave, that's 2 for each attacking creature. The black one is 2 for every creature in your grave. The white one's 2 for every knight. So they're all kind of on the specific side. This one is the green one is such an easy one to get to because they could have made it a little bit more difficult and gone with the mana cost of something on the field, and or a total mana cost on the field. That could have been another way to go about it. But he decided to go with power instead. Let's just look at the freaking giant noble for a second. Yorvo, who comes out as a 4/4. Bring him out on turn 3 as a 4/4 with 3 green mana. That means the reduction cost of this is already reduced by 4, meaning you already have it at 5, meaning you can do that pretty much next turn if you want. Well, maybe not next turn, but the thing is, as long as you're playing creatures, you're going to be bumping him up. And then if you're playing smart creatures, let's assume for a second you play Gilded Goose on turn 4. With this card in your hand after you play Yorvo. Yorvo is immediately going to go up to a mana cost of 6. That immediately reduces this cost to 3. So you just play Gilded Goose, Yorvo, and now you get this for 3. So it's easy as hell to get out, especially with big, meaty decks. Well, it's going to be a Commander All-Star, I can guarantee you that. Then you get the fact it taps you for 2 green mana, so you're already getting more mana. Then you can gain 2 life on top of that. You can just tap it for life. And to add on to that, you pump up every creature that comes out by 1, and then you draw a card. There is no downside to this card whatsoever. Ever. This is I love this card. I absolutely love it. Oh, I'm going to need so many copies of that card. I want something to happen. I wanted the pre-release to happen what it did in the last pre-release, the War of Spark pre-release. My pre-release promo was, actually, it wasn't Ugin. It was Daviel. I ended up getting 2 Ugins, though. I ended up pulling Daviel too, but I ended up pulling 2 Ugins. So what I want to get this as my pre-release card and then open up another pack and get another one. So I'm like, yeah, and then throw an Oko in there just for shits and giggles. Yeah. Oh, man, I love it. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to see what the last remaining couple cards are. I know one of them is talks about Garrick coming back to... Because, little spoiler, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... if you don't want to be spoiled, Garrick actually does get his curse finally lifted from the chain veil. So he gets saved, and a revival of the Wild Speaker, I think, is the card. So at least you can see what that card does. Till then, though, that's my thoughts on the cards today. Great bunch of cards, mostly. I'll tell you what, of all the mythics in this set, that the Brazen Borrower is probably the one I'm least excited to get if I got it. Just saying. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. IDs for Who Would Win, Star Wars, Severe Magic, What If, anything they do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So I'll be back with Who Would Win and What If. Later, folks.